be a church on your left-hand side. She said, stop off there and knock on the door and tell them that I sent you. So I went down to the church and I knocked on the door and I said, this lady sent me. And she goes, all right, come on in. We walked through this little tiny church into this big, huge gym that's in the back of it. And they had tables full of food. And she was like, well, come on, sit down and eat. I wasn't even part of their congregation or anything. But they were like, yeah, come on down, eat. I'm like, oh, okay.
You said no problem. Yeah, I'm hungry.
Sure, let's do it.
Let's do it.
It was good. It was delicious.
Oh,
Absolutely delicious.
oh, I bet. Because I have ants down there when they cook. You just kind of
Yeah, by the time I got done, I was like, hey, I don't think I can drive back. I'm
I'm gonna fall asleep. Yeah, way too much. I'm gonna fall asleep driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took a 15, 20 minute stay in the parking lot before I got back on the road.
Yeah.
But it's a great little place.
You ever see him do that?
So what are you doing with your bourbon?
Oh, he did when we were talking about the rate increase.
I got about 300 bottles as it sits. Yeah, I don't have enough space for it. I got one whole cabinet full. I got a secondary cabinet that I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
Liquor cabinet I'm building right now. And then whenever I get done building that, I can move it from my wood shop, which is just, remember Baker's old building? Okay. So I bought most of Baker's buildings. So the Jefferson Street ones and the ones behind Jefferson, which would be between Jefferson and Washington. That garage he had, bought that. And so I have a wood shop in there now. And then I'll build the cabinet bigger and move it down to, so I don't have to move too far. So.
I love Pappy. That's my favorite.
There we go. There we go.
That is my favorite. Of course, I don't have it off.
Right.
Because I can't afford it.
Right.
The older the better, and the more it costs. So.
You know what I've noticed out of all the Pappies? So I have the 12, I have the 10, the 12, the 13, the 15, the 20, and the 23. So I have them all. But the 13 is the hardest to find of all.
Really?
I can find the 23. I cannot find the 13.
All right, I will call to order
Turn with you
the
later.
Kitchen Plan Commission. If we could rise for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everybody. We will start with roll call. When we get to the end here, we'll introduce our new member as well. So start down here.
Dylan Dietrich.
Scott Reeser,
Jason Henderson.
Mike Coleman.
Rich Paul,
Mike Benjamin.
Jackie Carden.
Avery Nelson. Welcome. Thank you.
Welcome, Avery. I'm glad to have you on board. I did want to take just a quick second. Michelle Owens is no longer with us. She's moved out of district. I just want to say, it's been a pleasure working with Michelle. She and I got off on kind of the wrong foot on a particular issue, but she and I found common ground, got together and challenged each other every day. So I really, every time we were here, I really appreciated the way she brought things forward. Made sure we all thought about all the things we should think about. So, Avery, you've got some big shoes to fill. So welcome.
Thank you.
And thanks, Michelle, if you're watching out there, thank you for being part of this and always putting forth extra effort. Moving forward, do we have any modifications to the agenda tonight? All right, that moves us into minutes from our last meeting in April. Any changes since we had these electronically? Okay.
I move to approve April 9th minutes as written.
Thank you, Rich.
Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries. We have no old business. Moving into new business. So Scott brought this forward to me and to Tim, I believe, shortly after we passed CVO, kind of got started at the beginning of the year, that mainly because we didn't know any better. The utilities were kind of left out, looked over, or maybe just not fully considered. So Scott put together some suggested changes that he ran through both the electrical and the water part of the utilities and higher ups there to help people fit in with the utilities as they build and change things. So Scott, you want to take us through what we're doing here? And
Sure, do you want me to read also the previous language as well as the new or just the new?
Did everybody take some time to read these before we
Mhm.
sat? So maybe
Yep.
just kind of give us an overview of what we're changing,
Okay.
what, you know.
So as far as when I was reading through the UDO, like Mike had said, there was some things that left out, and one of them was the Wellhead Protection Overlay District, specifically K, which is enforcement. So in there, the new language will read that the Planning Commission, Tipton Municipal Utilities, and the Tipton Utilities Water Superintendent have the following inspection and enforcement rights with the overlay. It just said County Board of Health basically on the previous one. So since Jeff, the water superintendent, basically is liable for all that, I want to make sure that the utilities and water superintendent was added.
And he's probably the day-to-day boots on the ground guy anyway.
Yes.
That needs to be there.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Any questions on that one?
That was a big mess.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine. The next one, chapter 5, section 13, page 31. All the rest of these deal with the design standards utilities. So on the electric, we had changed it in C to say that they could be installed or may be installed above or underground in designated utility easements or rights of way at the discretion of the Tipton Municipal Electric Department Superintendent. So in the previous language, all it had was underground. So there's times when above ground will also be applicable.
And I think, going back to our discussions when we were approving the UDO, underground was preferential, but you had made a point, it's not always beneficial to the utility or the homeowner, even if it is preferred. Above ground is better sometimes.
Let's see, the next one would be for new language in D. Development must provide for the collection of all sanitary sewage discharges by the installation of sanitary sewers according to the Tipton utility standards and City of Tipton sewer use ordinance. These sewers must be tied into a public sanitary system and connected within the right-of-way and or dedicated sewer and utility easements. When a public sanitary sewer is not available, then a septic sewer system on an individual lot may be provided as permitted by this ordinance and is constructed according to requirements of the county health department. I have to look and see the development in the old previous language. It just had,
The health department.
yeah, basically that it was the health department and not the Tipton utilities.
If we just left you out.
Yeah. The next one, I think, is basically about the same with the county health department, but it said in the new language, it'll read, development must provide a complete water main supply system connected to Tipton utilities and approved by the Tipton Municipal Utilities and its water department superintendent. When a municipal or community water supply is not available, then an individual water supply on each lot must be provided according to the requirements of the Tipton utilities and or the county health department.
When you type that up for normal, we need to change country to county.
Yep.
See that there, Tim?
I do.
Mhm.
I'll go ahead and edit that now. Thank you, Rich.
You're welcome.
And then on F, there was no language for this section. So I added, for the new language, it'll say the development must provide for the necessary electrical supply system hookup and connection to the TMU electrical distribution system. Requirements and details for various system hookups and fees can be found in the TMU general terms and conditions for electric service document. And a copy is on hand at the TMU office.
Again, we left electrical out almost completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need all that. So, our path forward here is we consider these tonight, discuss them with all we want, and then we make a recommendation to the council to add them to the UDO, correct? Correct. Okay. So, I guess first, do we have any discussion
I've got a question.
with that?
Like, in what kind of circumstance would you put utilities above ground? And what would they be?
Basically just the electrical.
Okay,
You could either do underground and electrical and go through pad transformers, or you can go on a telephone pole and do it.
okay, that's what,
And that, the language is only electrical.
Right.
Right, we're not talking about
okay.
putting water pipes in here. Right? I hope
Right.
nothing good comes out of that. Any others? Okay, do we want to have a motion to recommend to the city council to approve this new language?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Yes, sir. You know what? You're right. I did not. Thank you. I thank you for catching that. This should be a public hearing. I would open a public hearing now without any objection. If anybody from the public would like to speak.
We have to advertise it.
We did.
You did that.
We did. That's, yes, I just forgot to mention that it was, and we are, and without any public coming forward to speak, without objection, I'll close the public hearing. All right. Now we can entertain a motion. Dylan, motion to recommend.
Yep, I'll make a motion to recommend.
All right, thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Rich. And we do need a roll call vote for this, I believe, as well, Tim.
Yes.
Okay. Dylan?
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, hold on. Tim, are you good?
Yes.
As we're going?
Yeah.
Yay. Mike Holman.
I did.
Yay.
Yay.
All right. As unanimous, motion passes. We'll go forward to recommendation for the city council to add to our UDO if they choose to. Thank you for that. That does move us into our next item of business, rezoning of 314 Fairview. Tim, take us through that.
Yeah, 314 Fairview is currently institutionally zoned, which just limits it to pretty much government and schools and business, like very strict limitations on development, what you can put on the lot. If you noticed on the paper that the kind of the bird's eye view that I printed off for you guys, everything surrounding that is R2. And the only reason it is institutional is because the city of Tiffin owns it. So it doesn't make sense to remain institutional because it's going to limit it to pretty much bigger structures with what it allows. And with how small that lot is, almost nothing unless it goes for the BZA is going to be approved to be built on that lot.
And it's currently empty.
It's empty now, and it's probably going to remain empty in the future as well.
Everything was advertised and mailed appropriately.
Yes, everything was mailed out to adjoining properties and advertised in the Tiffin Tribune.
Pretty good.
If nobody knows where this is a corner lot, just in a residential neighborhood. Right behind it is the cemetery, right?
Yep,
The
yep.
empty field.
It's an empty
Yep.
field.
Where the kids practice ball.
Yes, practice football field, right?
Yep.
So do we have any discussion, any questions?
Nope.
All right, do we need a roll call on this as well? Just to approve this, okay. Accept motion to approve or not?
Move to approve the rezoning of address 314 Fairview to R2. Is that what we're doing, R2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Second.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Dylan. We'll let Tim call roll so we can get everybody correctly this time on a roll call. We're allowed practice. No matter.
Dylan,
Yay.
Scott,
Yay.
Jason,
I'm voting.
oh, sorry, Mike,
Yeah.
Rich,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Jackie.
Yay.
Avery.
All right, motion carries. Thank you for that. That moves us into some discussion here. Tim, take us through. Oh, excuse me. No, let's move into public comment. Anybody from the public like to speak? All right. Anybody from the board have anything before moving to our discussion here?
I'll mention, at least on the county side, the county passed a moratorium on data centers. With the new statutes, Tim knows that once they pass it, you have 1 year to implement something. If you don't, then that's all you get is 12 months. They met today, the small study group to kind of work through data center information, and I guess that's pretty much it. On a personal note, been able to work with Tim's office on certain things that he's needed, so seems to be doing a pretty good job, and his communication seems to be working out really well, so.
How, I mean, you don't know, but ballpark on how long the county would take to get a thing together? Is it a pretty quick process, you think?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a year. It'd probably be something on the table within the next, 4 months or whatever.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I think those are appropriate when we need to get ready, right? And let's face it, it's coming, so. Something's coming.
And you gotta be able to explain to people that battery plants and data centers are not even close to the same thing. Because that was one of the questions that was asked by a constituent.
And you guys put a lot of effort into battery stuff, so,
Yeah.
I think that came out pretty good. Talk to us a little bit, Tim, about what we got in front of us with these ordinance proposals.
So the first thing in the packet would be, the street department and alley cut fee schedule change. From talks with Dylan, the current system doesn't really allow to hold contractors accountable for our infrastructure. So they basically just don't follow the rules because they'll just eat the payment and it doesn't affect them that much. Dylan, you see this more on a day-to-day with the street and alley cut. Would you be able to speak on that?
Yeah, so, the problem that I run into with it when it comes to street and alley cut is our fee schedule or our deposit is mostly so low that contractors don't reach out to me to come do inspections before they fill the hole in. They don't reach out to me when the work's done for me to come look at. They just don't reach out at all. So, because if they've paid $100 refundable deposit, it's not worth their time to go through the steps to get that $100 back. And I've got probably 5 or 6 right now, refundable deposits that I've been sitting on for 7-8 months, because no contractor has reached out to me to inspect anything.
Just because it's just not enough money to
Because-
bother with.
Correct. It's not enough money for them to bother with. They've already recouped their money from whether it be a homeowner or, whatever the instance is. So I think raising our fee schedule to something that these contractors will reach out to me to actually get their money back is something we need to do. At the end of the day, if they've dug a hole in our alley to do a sewer tap, or they've dug a hole in our road, and I am not able to inspect it or know that the work's done, and it settles in a year, 2 years down the road, I'm responsible at that point to go fix it. And $100 that I've kept doesn't cover my cost to fix any damage that they've caused. So that's where, at least on the street department side, I think we need to update our fee schedules.
So I want to make sure I understand how this is done because I've never cut a street, but right now I pay $10 a square foot to cut a hole.
For a paved surface, it's $10 a square foot. So that would be asphalt, concrete. If it is gravel or grass, it's $3 a square foot.
And
that,
does it cost you $10 to put it back if I don't?
oh no, it's way more than that.
That's,
The cost of asphalt, the cost of stone, labor cost,
Yeah.
equipment cost, it's much higher than that.
and then we would charge them an additional $20 a square foot refundable.
It'd be the same, $10. So
Okay.
whatever the square footage is, the initial square footage price, that's just per se doubled to make the full permit
Like
price.
your
And then
deposit,
they
you
get,
get half back.
and they get half back once they call me. It also makes it difficult. So a contractor will come in, they'll fill out this permit. They're guesstimating on what size hole they're gonna dig. It's never, when I go out, it's never the same size as what they put on the permit. And to have them come back in and pay me the additional, it is not gonna happen. So to go away from a square footage and do a standard set price, I think will get us a lot more accurate in the way we're doing things.
So I don't even know what a hole is, but let's say a 4x4 hole.
Yep.
Right, 16 square feet.
Yep.
I'm gonna pay $160 currently.
Yep.
If I'm cutting in concrete.
Correct.
You would charge 200 plus what in the new structure?
With the new structure, we're proposing just a $200 principal fee for admin and going out there and reviewing, and then a $200 refundable deposit.
Okay.
If that needs adjusted in the future, we'll look into that, but Dylan and I kind of sat down with, our third-party consultant, which was Oksana,
Mhm.
and we all three agreed that this would be a good starting point to see where it goes from there.
Well, my question is, that $200 doesn't, or that $200 additional doesn't cover your cost to fix it?
It gets it a lot closer than where we're at.
And farther back, we're gonna hear that we can't change these things except every 5 years.
That's only according to planning, or building and planning departments,
Okay.
not public
this.
works,
Okay.
only my department.
Gotcha.
I didn't want to increase it so much that now they're afraid to even come in and get a permit.
Absolutely.
But I needed to increase it to enough that they are calling me to come work.
Just so that I can get an understanding. There's no consequences if a contractor goes out there, cuts a hole in the street and then walks away.
Correct.
So if I just go start digging right now,
I have
you got nothing.
I have nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
That's maybe outside of our purview too, but
yeah. And
Interesting.
anyway,
It's good to
Now,
know.
now,
Good to
obviously, at the end of the day, I would get with Tim,
Yeah.
and Tim may have an avenue that I don't.
Mhm.
I'd place a stop work order on
Yeah.
them, $250 fine, and then go from there. But that's in a perfect world if we catch them. If we don't know who it is, then we have no one to find, no one to stop.
and hopefully the homeowner knows who dug the hole.
Yep.
Correct.
Generally, I don't have people digging holes for me to put in my electrical.
But believe it or
Yeah.
not, there's been, I would say, I know this year so far, I've caught 5 contractors digging without a permit. And luckily,
In a street or alley or.
in a street or an alley, yep.
Hmm.
Yep. And it's, unfortunately, it's the same contractor, or the same couple contractors that continue doing it.
We have, again, probably outside of our purview, but just for discussion, can we let, like, police department know, hey, when you see these contractors around there, probably breaking the law?
Oh, yeah.
We have, some recourse there,
I
maybe.
mean, you're damaging government property at that point
Yep.
without a permit.
Okay.
Mhm.
I should have asked this, Tim. These are really just for discussion for us, right? We're not taking any action here. tonight,
Correct. These are just
right?
discussion topics, mull it over. And
If we want to change something or maybe just think about it till next time, but we could.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything is adjustable and this is not.
Okay.
Yep.
This is just for discussion.
This is something that we, again, like Tim said, we sat down with third-party consultants. We figured in the time that it costs us to, 1, review plans, 2, do inspections, 3, do re-inspections if we need to. Basically administrative costs on top of if, I have to go out and send a couple people to fix something or Tim has to do something. That's how we came up with a majority of these fees.
We're not making money, but at least we're
Absolutely.
coming close to covering.
We're preventing being subsidized, basically by another department.
So if you have to re-inspect, are you charging them for that?
Yes, that's gonna be a $50
Okay.
inspection fee per,
Okay.
so if they fail and I come back out and do a rough in again, they're gonna be charging an additional $50.
Okay, we'll make sure that is in there.
I will not issue the certificate of occupancy until
Okay.
they've paid the re-inspection fees.
Right.
And
Because, basically the certificate of occupancy, that's my last bit of leverage I have on the
Right.
contract here.
It is.
Yeah. And another thing you'll see here, it is creating a new encroachment permit. So right now, I don't know if I believe it's the UDO along with our old, or our city ordinances, that say, to put a dumpster in a road, you have to have a dumpster permit, stuff like that. We don't have a dumpster permit. There's not one, there really has never been one that I know of that I can find. So that's what this permit would be. If anybody is going to be setting a dumpster in the road, if they're gonna be bringing heavy equipment over our sidewalks, basically it's a document showing that somebody was there doing work or something was placed there that if something's tore up, we have somebody to go back to. We get a lot of calls about, we need to set a dumpster in your road. I have no problem with that, but if some way that dumpster, picking it up, moving it, damages my road, I'd like to know who did it and what happened.
I remember, right, we used to have one in the county.
I think there still is a
Yeah,
dumpster fee.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's a dumpster permit, you gotta put it in the street.
So encroachment permit, we're looking at potentially $50. If I'm gonna drive a piece of equipment over a sidewalk and I break it,
Yeah,
that $50 doesn't even come close.
It doesn't, but that is something that I can go back to that contractor and at least I'll have a document saying, hey, you were here. This sidewalk wasn't damaged prior to you showing up. We need to work through how you're gonna take care of fixing this.
Okay.
It's,
Does that give you enough leverage?
It
Right?
does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
the encroachment permit is mainly for a document.
Yeah.
Saying, you went over the sidewalk, but you may or may not have broken the sidewalk. So it's just a way for us to monitor it and go out there and inspect it afterwards.
Okay.
You didn't break it. So
And,
nobody
and
can
my
say-
real concern is for both of you guys, that
Mhm.
$50 is enough of a incentive and or deterrent.
I think it is.
Okay.
And then the same with the bore pit. So right now, when we have a lot of boring going on in town throughout the year, and the only thing that I have to go off of right now is our street alley sidewalk cut permit or right of way cut permit. And in an instance for boring, all I can charge them for is their bore pit that they're digging to set their bore machine in. I have no leverage to charge them for the actual conduit that they're boring under the ground. I have no leverage to hold these really contractors accountable. For instance, out at the subdivision off of Wilson, we had a contractor come in, they dug multiple bore pits, they tore up a lot of yards.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of angry residents about that. And really the only documentation I had was, okay, they paid for 4 bore pits, but what more can I hold them to? So adding an encroachment permit, as you can see, for boring, it's $50 for every bore pit, plus another $150 refundable deposit, to hold them accountable to come back and fix these areas if they tear them up, and have more documentation on where they were and what they were doing.
Yeah, because moving just the machine in place is potentially.
Yeah, you're
Damn.
tearing up people's yards, you're tearing up our easements. So we need you to come back and remediate the vegetation you disturbed.
Yeah.
And that's just what it's for. It's just for, go back and see who did it. Hold the right person accountable. Instead of playing a guessing game or, asking the homeowner, do you know what truck you saw on the road or what piece of equipment you saw out there? Did you talk to anybody?
Who was it? Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a lot of the guessing game out.
Okay.
Um,
And like I said, my major concern is that's enough leverage, right? We don't need to get crazy with it, but at the same time,
Yeah.
is it an incentive to come back?
yes.
Okay, that leaves us one thing here with the disconnect, electrical disconnect.
Yes, the electrical disconnect, I had several conversations with Joe Blake, the superintendent over electrical for TMU. I had conversations with Joe Bittner, the previous fire chief, conversations with the current fire chief, Jeffrey Ogden. They're not here tonight, but they've all expressed support in requiring this disconnect. It's pretty much a breaker on the outside of the house. So if there's a fire and EMS needs to get into the house, instead of calling TMU, which I'm sure they'll still do, but it allows them just to walk up to the side of the house and shut the power off. It just protects our first responders. And I'm sure the homeowner would actually be happy to have it on the outside of the house as well.
my question with that would be, what triggers that requirement? So I don't have one currently, so I would not, I'm assuming I would be grandfathered in
Correct.
until I do.
Until you do an electrical upgrade going from single to two-phase, maybe even three-phase in some cases, or just new builds.
Upgrade a panel from 100 to 200 or.
Correct, yeah. If you stay the same, then you're not required to have an electrical disconnect.
Okay, and I think it's important we say that publicly, right?
Correct, yes.
With the environment we live in these days. And again, I'm changing an outlet or changing a switch, fine, right? But if I'm a major upgrade of an electrical,
Correct. You're upgrading you're upgrading your meter, upgrading your electrical panel itself, strictly. No, if you're adding a couple of GFCIs, or you're just running a new wire, not at all.
gotcha. And all new construction then would,
All new
Be
construction.
required.
Yeah, if you want to build a new house out in Buttonwood or on Northwest Street, then you would need put an electrical disconnect.
So what's the standard on where that goes on a house? Generally, is it just
Generally right
where
beside
your-
the-
where your service?
Pretty generally, yes.
what's the additional cost for adding that? I mean,
I don't purchase them, but from what I've heard, Jim may be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but about at cost, I think it's $200 to $300 extra.
I would guess probably in the $200 range.
any other thoughts on that? I mean,
It's just more of a safety aspect.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's 100% a safety aspect.
I like it.
That's all it is.
I-
And it just, the main thing is it protects possibly TMU personnel and especially our first responders.
yeah, I mean, I needed to clean my air condenser the other day, and there's a breaker right there, right? I knew I was safe, right, before I took it apart. So
I mean, if there's an emergency, they have to wait on utilities to come
your house is
and
still
break
running.
it at the pole.
Uh-huh.
Which I just want to make very clear, conversations with Joe Bittner and Jeffrey Ogden, they said that TMU was very fast in response.
Sure.
So I don't want to,
Yeah,
I don't want this
sure.
to be that
Absolutely.
TMU wasn't doing their
Right.
job.
Right.
Not at all.
Right.
This is just an extra step in the right
It's an
direction.
extra person to wait on, whether they're there 30 seconds or 10 minutes. It's-
Correct.
Every second counts when your house is on fire,
Absolutely.
in my opinion.
Well, and in question, I don't know much about these electrical disconnects, but for instance, power outages and people hooking to generators and stuff, this gives our electric department, somewhere that they can walk up to the house if they see a generator running and just shut it off, right?
See, that was my
For
same
back
question.
feed, so
about
they're not
generators.
back feeding the line, or,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would assume so, but I don't fully know.
Okay.
They should be on
Depends
the
how it's-
transfer switch anyway.
Depends how it's tied into the house.
They should, but I can promise you, not everybody installs transfer switches. I've got a camper plug on the back outside of my house.
Don't tell on yourself.
No, I've never hooked a generator to it, but I'm saying there are people that would.
Absolutely.
I got a generator sitting in my garage that I have yet to hook up for the same reason.
Yeah.
Because I just gotta put a disconnect on it.
Like a couple things on the encroachment permit,
Yes,
at least on the county side. I haven't seen the law that really constructs what the city has, at least looking at their streets, alleys and such. On the county side, we have an ordinance that requires that, of course, any contractor that's gonna do any work is bonded. And especially it's really more towards the utilities, the people that come in like Dylan and them are talking about, that come in and do the boring and stuff. And even if, some of the builders, a lot of the builders are bonded and stuff. And as soon as you start saying, hey, this is put back the way I want it, and you start taking steps to
Yeah.
get to the bond, then they really get upset. So they usually come back and respond pretty quickly. At least on the county side, we also have it where at least if it's a big utility project, they get a permit, they have to provide a bond that signs the engineer or the street superintendent signs off on, showing that they have proof. A lot of times, as you know, we're dealing with multiple subcontractors. The people that are out there, we ran into one on 300 South recently that was, it's usually all of these, it seems like the fiber people that are doing the work. But we also require that they have to front load into a non-reverting fund that allows us to hire an inspector that goes out and inspects them. We draw down on that money. That's part of their application. So recently, even TDS is doing one. They're running fiber out to Hobbs. The county requires that they pay an upfront permit fee of $4,500. So we have an inspector that's dedicated to interacting with them, things like that. Probably doesn't necessarily fit on the city of Tipton, maybe on this point, but Tim does have things that's outside the periphery that he has to deal with. But at least on the bonding side, if there's something that would allow him, and that may be in an ordinance that's addressed.
Yeah, it's not required on the encroachment permit because the encroachment permit is strictly just for the right of way. So if let's say you're wanting to put a pool in your backyard and, there's dump trucks backing over the sidewalk, that's what the encroachment permit for. So on the pool permit for the improvement location permit, that's where the bonding is actually required. So it's covered, but it's not, but it brings up a good point. It brings up good conversation to where it's needed on both because it's not if they already have it for the pool, then they're definitely going to have it for the encroachment permit.
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, you bring up a great point. I mean, we had Miller Pipeline in town.
Oh,
You guys had them in the county.
Yes.
We didn't require per se any bonding. We went strictly off this $3 and $10 a square foot and, with the refundable deposit. And it was a nightmare, getting them to come back, and they hire subcontractors to actually do the final work on the road. But that work really should have been done, before winter, and it wasn't. It was cold patch, and it was a nightmare for a long time to get these the way they are. And I wouldn't say I'm doing backflips about the way it is currently, but
Yeah.
Right.
what do I do?
It's way better than it was.
Well,
It's concrete and whole.
Yeah.
I'll email Tim and he can disperse what the county has, and, maybe it's something that Dylan can pull part off of, and maybe they want to put it into the ordinance, because as soon as we ran into the same problem that Tim was talking about, we issued stop work order, which we did, and then we threatened to go after their bond, and then that's when they did a good job of adhering to our stop work order. They didn't continue to work in the right of way as much as they wanted to, until they got it straightened out, because we threatened to make sure that we reviewed their other things that they would end up doing in the future, a little bit more time.
Yes.
So,
Should there maybe be two levels, a minor and a major encroachment? I need to bring a backhoe in to dig something, right? Me personally on my land versus a larger neighborhood project or community-based project, right?
Yeah, and that brings, I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And that's why we're
Yeah.
wanting this discussion, let everybody look over it, see what they
Sure.
think, and we can definitely make changes.
One thing I see, and this is just because I'm the guy who gets called all the time too, your phone number's on here.
Yep.
You're gonna take a vacation one day.
Yep.
Hopefully. You deserve one.
One day.
Should it maybe just be the office and not you personally?
Tim asked me, and I'm okay, whether I'm on vacation or not, my phone's on me.
Right.
So I can pass that on to whoever is in charge when I'm gone.
Okay.
That doesn't bother me too much.
You're kind of like me, 24/7. Doesn't matter where you're at or what you're doing.
Yep.
They're gonna call.
And if they don't get a hold of me, trust me, they'll find the street department's phone number.
So, yeah, that would be my one thing as you bring up that, Jason, is maybe we need a major minor encroachment process there. And for me, it's personal work versus more public work.
Yep.
Right, and where that division is, right? If you're working in more than one lot, you're a major, right? If you're only working on one lot, you're a minor.
Yeah.
Something like that, so.
Circumstantial.
Yes, and we got to define it somewhere, so however we want to define it, but, same thing. Major minor subdivisions, right, there's a very delineated, this is what it is, this is what it isn't, so.
And just so everybody at least on this board is aware, when this does come up for a vote, I will not be voting on it because it has to do with my department as well, so.
Anybody have anything else?
I wanted to speak more on the more vast permit fee changes that are coming through.
Oh, yeah.
Anything that directly affects planning and building department, kind of like Mike brought up earlier, legislation is passing the new bill as of 27. You can't change the fee structure until for every 5 years, and you can only base it off of inflation. So with that third-party consultant we had with Oksana, she realized that we were, as a department, losing money and not breaking even with the current permit costs. So the goal of the new structure is to catch up before this every 5 years goes into play, and then only matching inflation would not make up the difference with how far behind Tipton currently is. And to add to that, we changed the new home from 450 to 600 with the additional 10 cents a square foot, because the 600 is going to be the principal fee for the plan review, the sit down and discussion with the contractor or developer, sending them with their information, then them coming back and discussing it further. And then the 10 cents is basically the difference between 1,000 square foot house and a 2,000 square foot house. It's not fair to charge someone, for the same price as 1,000 square foot compared to 2,000 square foot, because the 10 cents comes in for the inspection time. Because there's a vast difference between the walking distance that I'm going to spend time on someone's site compared to someone else's site. And that's where the 10 cents comes in for the square foot. And that's basically where I'm going to leave it at. I just wanted to speak more on that permit side rather than just a straight valley cut.
Mr. Ashley, could I ask you a question as a builder in the community? If I said if you're gonna build a 2,000 square foot home and your permit was $800, does that seem in line with other communities, or?
Well, I guess the first thought would be our other fees that are associated with it, like Park Road, some of the other communities will put impact fees.
Okay.
So it's been a while since I've been in Noblesville and built, but if I was gonna build a house in Noblesville, say 5 years ago, it probably cost me a couple thousand.
Okay.
At least. Forget about the water and the sewer.
Yes, yeah, right.
Not even including the water and sewer.
Yeah, hookups are,
Yeah, that's entirely different. But yeah, I don't think it's too much.
Okay.
We probably need to have some other.
May not be.
facilities.
may not be enough even, but
Mhm.
it wouldn't deter you as a builder or a home, a home, not a home builder, but a homeowner building a home.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. We always talk about growth. We don't want to do anything to stifle.
Correct, and
So-
that was one of the views we looked at was, trying to not become subsidized by other departments, but also not deterring development in any way.
I like that. Thank you.
Sounds more like we're inviting it.
Yes. Yeah. Build here for 800 instead of 2,000 down the south.
Yeah.
Or more.
I guess I'd point out to Tim that the county just was looking at the same thing and actually did some updating to their ordinances or to their fees. I guess I would also, unless I've missed it, I'd challenge Tim to come up with a fee schedule for a battery energy storage system and even a data center. Only
Definitely
because, somebody could come in and want to repurpose, let's just say steel parts. Something along those lines. And there could also be a place where you can build a brand new one as well. So, and the only reason I mentioned those is because that's something we recently went through that we realized that we did not have in those.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jason.
Yep. I think that's, I hadn't even thought about repurposing something like that, but that's great. Okay, any further? So I think for us, let's discuss, Tim, let's put these back on for next meeting.
Yeah, I think August 13th.
Okay. I'll trust you on that. I don't have a calendar in front of me. And yeah, I think one thing you two should talk, right? Bill and Tim, a major minor would be, I think, important. And if you determine it's not, that's fine too. But I think it would be valuable. Any other business?
Tim, were you gonna talk about the Ellis?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I didn't know if we were
Yeah.
opening the floor to him at that point in time.
Go ahead.
Jim came to me about a garage that he's possibly building in the near future and asked about alley setbacks. And currently there are none in the new UDO. But Jim brought up that it was discussed before the approval of the UDOs and the drafts but somehow I didn't make it into the UDO. But, you know, concern with setbacks for the alley with garage door facing, it definitely presents possible issues. You know, if someone wants to drive up and park somewhere, if there's not a correct setback, then they're gonna be half in the alley, half in the driveway. And that's something we want to avoid.
We all discussed it.
Yeah,
I know we did.
We did.
I spent some time this morning, so Tim, we co-piloted, Googled, found, search, find, nothing. So first of all, thank you, because you were in that discussion as well.
Yeah.
And I thought we talked about it.
Yeah.
We definitely did.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but we were talking about maybe 20 feet as a setback, based on a pickup truck.
I think we were talking about,
Yeah, 'cause mine's 21.
Yeah. Could have sworn we added something in there before that.
We must have.
I would,
I think it was when Oksana was here, and I don't know if it kind of just got,
like, it would transition from one person to another before Oksana. We talked before Oksana and it didn't make it into the notes that got to Oksana perhaps.
Okay.
So what we would do is, one, we got to figure out what we want to change it, what we change it to, and then we have a meeting just like tonight. We have a public hearing, we make a recommendation to the city council.
I think if I remember correctly, last time we had it at 10 feet at the minimum.
Yeah, I'm with Benjamin on that.
I think
thought
it's
10 was
10
gonna be the
feet.
one that was, because you could park parallel.
Yeah.
With the alley. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had to pull off,
I'll say my truck's 21 foot from bumper to bumper. So.
you wouldn't be able to park perpendicular into the alley all the time unless you're sticking
Well,
the bed out.
I will, but.
I know you would. You know that.
So,
You're a rich Walton.
and yeah, Mr. Asher, I invite you,
Yeah, if
you're
I
part
could
of the
just
steering
add a
committee.
few cents here, I don't think 20 feet's enough. But at the same time, by requiring that extra, now you're adding probably $10 a square foot for your concrete costs.
Yeah, absolutely.
To extend that, so, then, particularly if you don't really need to have a place, an area to park that extra vehicle.
Right.
The idea that you could park parallel, I think gives the homeowner at least one extra space.
Right.
And not enough space to even try to pull in a truck.
Right.
But if you're gonna require a perpendicular parking spot, it better be 24 feet.
Yeah, I was thinking 25.
And then you're starting to get into some more costs, you're eating up a lot that, you may not have a lot depth anyway. So I would be concerned about having that big of a setback. I thought our discussion was more like in the 10 to 12 feet.
correct.
And they could kind of swoop in.
Yep.
And parallel to the garage. As a matter of fact, we built a garage on Northwest Street, I hate to say it, 25 years ago. Ed Stauder carried the garage at the back. I just drove by there on my way in to look at it. Sure enough, they had two cars parked parallel to the garage, parallel to the alley. And we were about 10 feet, not even over 10 to 12 feet off the alley. So it was used the way we thought it would be used at that time. They didn't have two cars to try and pull in, and stick their tail out into the drive. So I would lean personally toward the lower requirement. And then to muddy the water even more, what if it's not an overhead facing door to the alley? What if they just want a side door that they can pull them over in, they can bring in the furniture, but they have no intention of driving a car, and I call it a garden garage. Would that require the same setback off the alley? If it's 10 feet, I'd say, yeah, that's probably reasonable if it's 10 feet, but if it's 25 feet, then you're losing a lot of your yard.
As the building commissioner and administrator who would be reviewing that, if it's not gonna be utilized for vehicles, then I would just treat it as a regular setback on the side of the building, not a garage door facing.
Right.
Because it's circumstantial, so it'd be different. So I think it's an 8-foot side setback, if I'm thinking correct. It depends which zone you're talking about, but most common is what you're gonna see is 8 foot, or I think is what it's R2. But that's how I would base that review on for the permit. It'd definitely be circumstantial.
I do remember the conversation of 10 feet though.
So,
Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry, would you work up something for us to consider next time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe not a public hearing, but at least a discussion language to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, first of all. I mean, we all remember the conversation. We just don't, yeah. Unlike Scott's issues, we didn't even consider yours. We talked about the alleys and just, it didn't get there. So, growing pains, right? I was learning all this, so. Let's definitely have that on the agenda for our August meeting. And I think unless somebody has any different, let's make the language at 10 feet,
Yeah.
to start with, and we can adjust it as necessary.
I had another question for the board. In the UDO, it states there's only one driveway per property. I'm running into a lot of situations where they're needing two driveways. A lot of situations it becomes putting a garage behind the house, so they're pulling in to the structure and behind the house. And then if they have friends or family over, then they're wanting to add driveways, off the street and pulling cars into the driveway. Or, if they have two kids with cars, they just want to get it off the road. Is that something you guys would be opposed against, allowing two driveways per property, or did you guys want to stick to the one driveway per property?
Seems like if you're getting that request quite often, then we should look at maybe adjusting the UDO ordinance, just like we do with BZA things. I don't know, it's more Dylan's connection.
Would they be two driveways off the street or one off the street, one off an alley?
One off the street, one off the alley.
That's the,
Okay.
That's,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, correct. So we'll clarify that. I don't want two or three driveways off North Street.
right.
It'd be off.
I actually thought about doing that behind my house and
Yeah.
then coming in off the alley.
I just drove on the yard and parked there anyway.
My yard gets soupy.
Okay.
The other thing with this garage setback that we may consider, so our maximum driveway width at the right of way is 25 feet. So if we are saying 10-foot setback and we're expecting the car to park parallel to the garage, is 25 feet long enough to make your maneuver out of the alley and park your car there,
For a car, yeah.
or truck?
I can get it out of there.
What's a parallel spot downtown?
They're not 25 feet.
No.
I would have to measure it. I don't know that off the top of my head.
About 18.
I'm close.
I'd like to add, not everyone in the city of Tipton has enough yard space
For
to have a 25-foot
Yeah.
driveway and a garage.
Right.
So, I think the 10 to 15 foot would be more broad to the entire city of Tipton, more than 20 to 25 feet. Because if you guys want to do your homework, drive down some of the alleys in Tipton, there's a lot of these yards don't have the space to have that
That's
driveway.
true.
Yeah.
So I think it's more fair to the residents to be at 10 to 15 feet to require the, horizontally parking or perpendicular parking. And it's going to be issues in the future, if they sell and then someone else buys it, and they're not going to understand why we're requiring that or why we bring it up in the future. But I think it's more of a fair ask of the residents for 10 to 15 more than 20 or 25.
That's maximum, isn't it?
That's maximum.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So they can get a 15 if that's what they want.
Okay. I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought that
Yeah, I
was
was
the
thinking the
minimum.
maximum was 25 foot.
Okay.
It is.
I apologize.
So back to driveways. Sorry, we do keep bouncing back and forth. These are two separate driveways off two separate entrances, right? Road and an alley. They don't necessarily connect,
Correct.
right? You're not going to drive from your alley out past your front yard and onto the street. In your experience with what you're getting, this is usually one smaller than the other, right?
Yes.
Right. So I think we just need to Yeah, make sure somebody doesn't end up paving their whole place.
Oh, correct, and there's language in the
Yeah,
UDO
so,
that
yeah.
that for a lot
Right.
coverage.
Yes.
50% for R2, and then I believe it's 40% when I
Right.
get to R3, R4, R5.
It don't matter whether it's building or pavement.
Correct, it's just,
Right.
it's strictly lot coverage. I mean, it could be stone,
Yep.
concrete, pavement, it's just lot coverage across the board.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
On the two driveways, so if I understand, say you take Northwest Street and you begin to allow a second entrance to the front or a parking spot to the front. It changes the entire characteristic of the neighborhood for one thing.
Sure.
And not only that, it would eliminate at least one parking spot if you're gonna gain one in your yard, but you're gonna lose one at the curb
That's right.
at least. So I don't know, I'd be careful about that. I'm not sure that there aren't circumstances where a driveway from the front is okay. But as a rule, I don't think I think that creates a lot of problems in the city setting.
Yeah.
And
I think it depends on which street you're on.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I used to live on-
Absolutely.
I used to live on Green Street. I had a front driveway. It was plenty big, but I parked in the back because that's where I had stuff to unload sometimes, and we had a pad back there to park on.
Yeah.
It worked for both ways, but I agree, West Street's gonna be,
Correct.
it would change the character of the neighborhood.
Mhm.
And to speak to that, Jim, you are correct. They would have to apply for a driveway cut permit, which Dylan would go out and review it. And if it doesn't make sense and it's not applicable for that property, then it's gonna get denied.
Right.
And
But-
we've had that situation on North Street. So
We have, I have a really hard time approving driveways off of North Street, just with how busy it is. I don't, in my opinion, it becomes a safety issue with people backing out onto North Street.
Yep.
If they have alley access, I tell them absolutely no more driveways on North Street.
And see,
I
it's the
would-
same way on Main, because my wife, she can't, I back into the driveway so I can just dart out in front of people. But, but she can't do that.
So, and nothing, this is not, the next you may not be so,
Correct.
right,
Exactly.
so smart.
Yep.
There we go. I bashed you in, complimented at the same time. So I think either we leave it alone or we make sure we write it very carefully.
which, I mean, it's something we can touch base if I get more, if the BZA starts seeing these,
Absolutely.
then we can address it down the future and then add, strict language and the requirements.
I mean, we could put language that, at administrator's discretion.
Well, again, that runs into what Michael just brought up. If the next you isn't as intelligent,
Well, you would be the administrator, really.
Well, the next time.
Well, again.
No, I mean, both of you are essentially political employees, right? At the whim of the next
Oh,
mayor,
absolutely.
whenever there's a next mayor, whoever the next mayor, the next person in your spot, so if we codify it,
Mhm.
then it could be abused.
yes,
So,
to the detriment of our
Mhm.
look and feel of our city as well as safety.
Agreed.
Like you say, North Street, Main Street, those are not ones you want to back out onto
Yep.
regularly.
so I'm assuming the board would want to, let it sit marinated and see if there's more issues that come up.
Good thought.
I think so. Everybody cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah, and if, like I said, if we get 6 on the BZA in the next few months, year, or whatever, then it's right. The BZAs are, hey, you need to fix something,
Yeah.
right? The world has changed and the law didn't keep up.
Um,
Thank you, Mr. Ashley. I wasn't even thinking about like West Street having all that.
There's one more item. I
Keep
promise
going.
it's my last one. Speaking with Jeffrey Ogden, he brought up a good point for fire safety, commercial businesses. Let's say there's a fire in Pizza King, or Subway.
Oh, thank you. No, knock on wood, yes. No, I have not.
But, the fire department shows up and they have to call Richie or Jackie to get access to the building because people also want to break your glass door. So Jeffrey brought up the point of Knox locks on commercial businesses, allowing the fire department to have access to the buildings. And again, this would be kind of similar to the electrical disconnect. Jackie's business is currently grandfathered in, but if you want to remodel it and change the structure drastically, then you come out of that grandfather clause and you're required to have a Knox locks on your building. And this is strictly commercial, not residential.
Does everybody know what a Knox lock is? Right, you see a little red
Yeah.
doodad, flip it up, you can get it. If you have the key, you can get a key, right?
Yes.
It's a realtor box for business.
Correct.
With the
Mhm.
fire department and police both.
Police and fire,
Yeah.
first responders.
Yeah.
We have them on the courthouse.
Yeah. Jeffrey thinks, and I don't disagree with Jeffrey, I think it's a good.
Yeah.
Good
I mean,
option for commercial.
I don't think there's very many communities where I've walked past a commercial building and not
Seen them.
seen several,
Yeah.
right?
My history, it was required in quite a bit of locations.
Yeah.
Even just for Ballards and subdivisions that didn't have immediate access to the entrance of the subdivision.
Right, right. So, yes, unless somebody else disagrees, I think we should bring it to consideration,
Sure.
right?
Can bring it up in the
Yep.
next meeting.
Yep. One thing on that, I would want to know what triggers requirement. Obviously, new construction, but what would Jackie have to do to be required one? Whether she, and of course it's voluntary, right? She could put one up tomorrow,
Mhm.
but what changes would trigger, what renovations would trigger requirement?
Well, I would say, and just my opinion, even maybe a change in ownership.
Absolutely.
I
I
was,
agree.
I don't want to speak for Jeffrey, but I think that's the conversation we had. Change of ownership.
Mhm.
And then when it comes to basically where it requires a permit for work inside. Change of ownership and permit requirement. But when it comes to commercial, that's more fire and safety more than, it's more building code. Like international building code more than international residential code. So that's gonna be fire marshal's bread and butter, if you will. So that'd be, I can consult with Jeffrey and ask what his opinions are.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's gonna need my sign off, but it's also gonna need Jeffrey's sign off as well.
I think, again, back to the disconnect, every second counts, right?
Correct.
So, you know, Jackie, if you're welcome to go on vacation sometime, and
Yeah.
we'd really like fire department to get where they need to be.
Well, I will tell you that I've had to do that in other counties at my properties.
Not a problem.
Not a well, it's expensive, but you know,
It's insurance.
right. That's what I said. I would rather the building not burn down while I'm gone. So,
Do you remember what those cost?
it was about $850.
Much less than the doors.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
You know,
Yes, it is
If they're
because
gonna turn the
because the
door down.
door's $3,500. Because
Exactly right.
I just checked on that. So, right. So 850 is, you know,
Definitely worth bringing up.
yeah. I mean, I could see it.
Do you think there'd be some voluntary adoption?
I'm not sure.
That's,
I mean,
that's just a conversation question. I don't know.
I see, you know, the need,
But others might not.
but others might not.
And
I
that's
mean,
why I'm gonna drop $850. Okay.
right.
It really stemmed from DMT Capital doing all the work at the Kion.
Sure.
He's got 4 doors right off Jefferson Street.
Yep.
So,
Right.
I mean, it just makes sense to have a Knox lock there rather than breaking down 4 different doors to access the same property.
Right.
And then, you know, $800 for all 4 doors compared to $15,000 for doors, or even the building just falls to
Just-
the ground.
Right.
So,
Including any murders upstairs and everything else.
so correct.
So the
Yeah,
access-
there's gonna be
Mhm.
8 units, 8 apartments upstairs.
Yeah. I don't think it's a bad idea.
That's, yes. I'm ready. And they need to open
I'm
their
gonna get a
now.
donut shop. That's what I heard.
Leave me with a good time.
Right over by the taco place.
Called Glazed and Confused.
Yeah, that was it. I couldn't remember the
Your
name.
dog
to
cart's
say
just gonna
no.
be parked on the square all the time.
No, I petitioned to get a tube from the
Yes, he did.
donut shop over to my office in the courthaus.
So you don't have to go out in the weather.
Yeah, and I got
Get your
shot
donut
down right
Oh.
away.
Unfortunately denied, but I'm not gonna name who.
They're like, why don't we put it underground? I said, no, there's too many
You know what's under there.
turds in the town, per se.
All right, so since Michelle's not here, does anybody like to be the honorary motioner?
I'll make
Last
the
time I
motion.
did. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Last time I did that, I got killed.
I know.
I'm like, oh, God, okay.
Thank you, everyone. Good talks. Good talks.
me
Sorry, that thing.
get home and get my husband fed.
It's 75.
Man, we've got all that. Hot air blowing around in there, but still.
Thank you.
Put the mic off.
You get used to it, Tim. You know how it is. You know,
Yeah, it's 75.
we're all getting older.
Take those down there.
Keep saying it.